All right, let's do this. Today you're going to be reading a mentor text from the New York Times that looks like this, and it's linked into your assignment. I'm going to go over to a slideshow that instructs you about what you're going to do. Today's skill is writing a paragraph with supporting details to support a main idea. The theme for our class this week is how we live now. So today you're going to imitate a mentor text. You're going to write one short paragraph about something that you do that shows how you live now. And a mentor text is simply a text that you can analyze and imitate, and imitation is a great way to develop a craft. When you read our mentor text called 36 Hours in Wherever You Are, you'll notice that it's a collection of different writers, and it's set up like an itinerary. There's a different paragraph for every hour of the day about an activity that person does at that time. Each paragraph starts with a time and a little title about what the activity is. And the first sentence of all of these paragraphs is a command or an imperative sentence, not in a bad, bossy way, but in a do this kind of way that I think is supposed to be inspiring or motivational. So when I write mine, I am going to start with that first imperative sentence, but then a lot of them do switch into first person, and I am going to do that. I'm going to recommend that you do that because it's a little easier. So when you look at this article and think about how all the details add up, and also look at the beginning and the end, I think that a great main idea that I find in the introduction is while we can't travel for pleasure right now, our spirit of travel cannot be confined. Then in the introduction, the editor articulates the prompt, the call that they put out for people to write. And for them, that prompt was, what can you do over a weekend that embraces the ethos of travel? And we'll talk a little bit about what ethos means, but it means like the spirit or the character, the belief in travel. Since our theme is how we live now, our prompt will be, what is something you can do that captures the ethos of how we live now? It doesn't have to be a weekend. We're going to do 24 hours at home. So what is something that you do, an activity that somehow captures how you live now? So for my 12th graders, you guys have learned about ethos. Ethos is one of the 3 strategies of persuasion or rhetoric that was articulated by Aristotle. And the literal meaning of ethos is character, which shows how it relates to rhetoric, since ethos, when you're trying to persuade someone, is appealing to that person based on the authority or strength of your character. But in this sense, we're going to use the Oxford Dictionary version of ethos, which is the characteristic spirit or the character or spirit of a culture, era, or community as manifested in its beliefs and aspirations. So for us, ethos is the character or spirit of this time. When you write yours, make sure you include details because details make it interesting. You are going to have to find a detail in the article and record it in your assignment to show that you're noticing the details in our mentor text. Now you are going to do it. What is the spirit or character of this time that we are living in? I imagine that, well, I know that many of you are grieving, especially the seniors, and that's not being dramatic. That's really honest, and I think it's important to name that. Seniors are missing a lot of the really fun end of year milestones that they were supposed to have. I know one of my freshmen is grieving because this is her last semester here and she wanted proper goodbyes. Some of you are surely frustrated with the circumstances of isolation, online learning, who knows what else. You're making efforts to help your family. You're seeking distractions that are good for you physically and mentally, and you're trying to stay connected to other people. So that's, some of the things that you're probably going to come up when you think about what you do and why you do it. Finally, guidelines. You'll imitate the text in its form by starting with a time that you do the activity and a little title. You need to be clear and inform the reader what the activity is, where you do it, when you do it, if there are multiple steps. You need 3 supporting details, and then you need a main idea, or to conclude, simply, I want you to write